Starting. There we go. All right. We've got all three of us in here.
Yes.
So,
Larry.
and Larry too.
And Larry.
Yes. So I am here with these totally cool guys. We got William on the left here.
Sound Whiz.
Sound Whiz.
Yeah.
Is that one of your names?
Yeah.
Whoa. That's a really good one. Did you come up with that one?
No. We were at a sound healing and I was helping out, and then I was using a bunch of instruments, and
Ooh.
they started to call me Sound Healing.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you
It
got
just stuck.
coined the name Sound Whiz.
Yeah.
And then do you like to be introduced as Castor Pollux? Is that the way to pronounce it even?
Yeah. Castor
Okay,
Pollux
yes,
or
yeah,
Bob.
Okay,
Sometimes
or Bob.
people mix
Castor
it up. One
Pollux
time
or
I got
Bob.
introduced as Castor Bob.
Oh,
That was
Castor
interesting.
Bob. Yes. Yes, and so that's one of the first things I want to ask is like, how did that name come about for you?
Castor Pollux. I came up with that name basically because I was a Gemini.
Okay.
And it's the name of the two Gemini. It's
Okay.
Castor and Polydeuces.
Okay.
And Pollux for short.
Ah.
Basically, the short story is they were two like Jason and the Argonauts
Okay.
and stories like that. They were two of the in Greek mythology. They're pretty big, so they were two of the warriors. They were sons of Zeus. One died, and the other got granted eternal life.
Okay.
The other one went to Zeus and asked for the one who passed away to be brought back to life.
Wow.
And then Zeus granted him eternal life, but then for eternity, they would spend eternity one day in heaven and one day in Hades.
Okay.
And so that's the story of the Gemini, basically. And so I
Okay.
kind of took that on
Ah.
in just life, positive and negative, and having a name that I didn't have to stick with like positive content or negative content.
Ooh.
I have a lot of like pretty aggressive songs, just working out a lot of anger. So in the beginning of my music, I was super, super angry. And, you know, I mean, we all have anger issues, but I was definitely artistically putting it out there.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what it is, just because I'm a Gemini.
Yeah.
Shouts
And
to all
that
my
was
Geminis.
kind of your way of finding that, flowing that balance for yourself
Yeah,
through
yeah.
and in your creating stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And acknowledging it, you
right?
know?
Oh, wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so how long have you been creating under that name?
For quite some time. 20 years.
Okay, yeah.
20 years. That's
Yeah.
the name I picked as an MC, 22 years.
Okay, yeah. And so has it been at least that long that you've been like getting on a mic and
Yeah.
feeling like an MC?
Yeah.
How did some of that first come up for you though? Like, are there some early memories when you realized like, oh, this is the thing?
I think, well, I first started doing like graffiti and just doing a lot
Okay.
of street art with my buddies,
Okay.
just kind of getting into trouble. And we would just sit around and do graffiti and like in our black book sessions and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then we would just freestyle. We were all just freestyling,
Right.
listening to hip hop.
Yeah.
And I just freestyled and just loved freestyling. I'd go to backyard house parties and freestyle with everybody. And then one time, this one cat, Fatty from Parallel, peace to my boy Fatty. Back in the day, we were at a house party, and I thought he was like the baddest dude on the mic. And then he came up to me after and was like, "Hey man, that was pretty good." And then I was like, "Oh wow, the guy I thought was the dopest gave me a compliment." That kind of gave me some confidence.
Yeah.
And I just kind of kept going from there. Yeah.
And where did you grow up?
Anaheim.
Okay. So OC
Yeah.
boy.
Yes.
Coming
yes.
through, wow! But to come, I don't want to judge, but yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah.
To, like coming through the OC
Yeah.
with such conscious art and like channeling your.
We were lucky.
Experience.
I feel like back then there were so many creative people just in like the graffiti and the hip hop and I mean actually all music and stuff like that. And it was just definitely a lot of people who were really, I think, seekers in their own right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like Drew from Hyphen, he's from Parallel,
Okay,
so I knew him
okay.
back then.
Okay.
He DJ'd a party for my cousin when she was like 16 at my wife's house. Like when we met each other, it's just the the synchronicities and the crossing of paths is so relevant. I feel like.
Yeah. And so, do you feel like things are different now? 'Cause it sounds like you almost long for that time in music versus like what
No,
the experience is now.
I think I just like I guess I good old day it a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
right.
But I still have that now.
Yeah. Well, and I'm thinking now you're one of those people, right?
Thank you,
Right.
thank you.
Right.
I try to, yeah, but yeah, I think so. I think I long for it, but I think we're all keeping it alive as well.
And it
you know?
seems like you're so actively creating just when I'm following your stuff
I
on
try
like,
to.
social media. Like,
I try to. I've stopped
busting
a
out
few
songs
times.
really often.
I
for
try
instance.
to. I love making music and creating. in the last like 5 years, I would say I've always known I've created, but in the last like 5 years or in the last like 6 years, I'm dedicated to creating for the remainder of my existence. Like I'm a creator, I know it, and I won't stop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
And you notice, so some of that I want to, like, ask you notice that you definitely just feel better when you're creating. Is that part of that?
Yes.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah, I love creating. I love the creative process. For me, it's like almost kind of a meditation. And it's also a working out of my own traumas in my own life and my own, you know, just things I've been through, phenomena in life and stuff.
And how important is the actual releasing it to the public part for you, for your experience of it, do you notice? Versus if you were just doing it and not sharing it, right? Which some people may do.
I think it's a little bit half and half. And it's funny, now that I like do a little bit more deeper work and I can kind of see what my intention is too. Like, do I want it to just be out to the people for like an ego stance or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
But I have a lot of music that has never been released still.
Yes,
you
I
know?
bet. Right. So you have some of those.
Now I'm cool with just making music. I'm okay if I just make music and it doesn't get released.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But
I'm just curious about, the therapeutic aspects even for a creator of if it's actually more of like a full circle experience or some way to describe it. If you actually are getting it out there, right? Versus
you know it is.
Because you are getting it out there so much. That's what I noticed.
Yeah, yeah.
You're not just making it, but you're like releasing it.
It really is. I feel like I get caught up sometimes in like, like the number game. But then like when some people give me like recently on Instagram, someone said, 10 years ago I met you in a parking lot. I couldn't get into a show and you gave me one of your CDs. And he's a very, very dope painter. Cole Jenkins. But I got that. 10 years later, someone's like, you inspire me. He's an artist and to inspire artists.
Yeah, right.
So I do notice that. I feel really good when that I can be, I guess, I don't know, just inspire people to do their art or to just be honest with their creative process.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Which is cool to remember we're doing, or when you're just doing your process, right? Like not even necessarily talking about creativity, but just doing your creative thing.
Yeah.
Inspires other people.
Yeah.
Doing that.
Like you right here, this.
Right, This is one of my creative flow things.
Yeah.
And, okay, so definitely something else, because I know our 30 minutes always go quickly, but I want to hear about the support humans thing.
Okay.
What is this?
Support humans. It's basically, I've been asked that. Is it a clothing company? We don't know. We're still kind of just developing it. It was my friend Celso. I used to work with him, and he had this idea for support humans, just a t-shirt. We were coming up with some t-shirt ideas, like positive messages, and we didn't want to be Republican or Democrat or any specific cause or anything alienating anybody. And we were joking, man. We were just like, man, we just support all humans. And we were like, support humans. Let's just mess around. And he just messed around with the font and like sent me a little thing. And we were like, let's get some shirts made.
Yeah.
And people, like, every time I share it with people like it, and it's just kind of support everybody. Like what we were talking about, if everybody kind of is a little closer to what's dear to their heart, like support humans. Some people want to support elderly humans. Some people want to support baby humans. Some people want to support humans in their gender path. Some people want to help people in their educational path. But whatever that is, I feel like as humans, we all could support each other a little bit together, and that's kind of just basic. It's like so complex but so basic. Right.
It's like a life philosophy that's very inviting and inclusive, right? And like transcends all borders.
Exactly.
Which seems like you're often bringing that through with what I've noticed, this like awareness that just brings people together because it transcends these lines or boundaries. I don't know if I judge from what I've seen.
I feel like I've had this conversation, and I feel like a lot of people maybe you can relate. We all can relate. When we're kids, we're taught to like, this is like America, the melting pot, everybody's accepted, let's share. And all these things we're taught as kids, and then you get older and you're like, it's all for me, and then based on my political beliefs, these people can't, and this and that. But I'm still like this hopeful romantic for unity and peace. Like I still believe in all that stuff, whether it's gullible or not. But I still believe in that. I've been in many situations of my life where I've been in some really terrible places, and I've had people of so many different cultures and creeds and genders and religions and whatever other description you want to put have come and just were human beings and helped me. And so I kind of have faith in that, you know?
Wow.
and I feel like that's just like a simple thing, but we get caught up in the, I don't know, classism, all the isms, right? The racism and sexism, classism. And,
yeah, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of the opposite of feeling our humanity.
Yeah,
our shared humanity.
Exactly, exactly.
Wow.
And so I sometimes I feel like I even tell my wife, I feel like I'm just this like hopeful romantic for peace. It's like,
which is exactly what we need.
but like, why not? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, that's so well. That's my placebo. It's gonna work. I'm gonna keep going for it.
Right. And that you are creating from there too. Not that it couldn't be enough to just hold that hope, but you are like actively putting things out in the world that are spreading that energy, right?
I want to,
message in a very in a way that's not obtrusive. I would say that's
very good. Thank you. You don't want. And also I feel like when I was younger, I was super aggressive. Like it's like I was upset. I was really mad. I was so identified with my trauma, and so I just had this anger and dealing with it and working it out. You know, so I talk to people. It's like what I believe now is completely different from then, but I also feel like we should have the freedom to evolve. Like support humans also means that, like support people's evolution. Like I got friends who come out of jail, and then you see how family members still treat them like convicts or addicts or whatever.
Wow.
But then don't give them room to evolve and become somebody new, or whatever situation that may be, right? And I think we all do that to each other, you know, a lot in just kind of those boxes.
Right? Absolutely, right? Jeez, that's such like tangible world peace here.
Yeah.
You got some solid ideas.
And again, I'm all of this too. I can say its application is hard. I mean, I'll be caught up. You get frustrated, or you're caught up, and then it's all out the window. I don't know. You know, I think you can validate this, right? Like you do yoga class, and then like you're on the 405 afterwards, and like you were just like blissed out, but then you're like, who is this dude cutting me off?
Right.
You know, we joke about that in meditation class. It's I have these thoughts, I have these beliefs, I try every day. Some days I fail, it's an up and down. I also want to be human about that. Like I'm so passionate about this stuff, but I am a human being. Like, you know what I mean? Like the people who are closest to me know, like I fall, I stumble, but these are my intentions, you know? And as long as we honor all of our intentions, we're going to have some ups and downs, you know?
Right.
And
but feel like in integrity with it, hopefully.
You try, you know?
Yeah, I think that even came up with our mutual friend Casey, how in talking about meditation and that lifestyle, and how living with like good morals or just your consciousness about your behavior is going to affect like your meditation practice, right? Because then when you're sitting with yourself, it made sense to me suddenly that like your conduct hits you, right? Like in those moments, the more, you know, like you're spending with yourself. So
absolutely.
That like clicked for me. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so, it seems like you're someone I would imagine that you have some things that you do with yourself to like be in this like grounded, spiritual, connected place. Yes.
I do meditate.
So you do have a meditation practice, and I know you're in a teacher training right now for meditation with Casey, right?
Yes.
So exciting.
Casey.
And I love too that things like meditation and yoga, like each teacher's going to bring their own style, right?
Yes.
And so I love already imagining what's going to happen with you adding that and becoming that in your ways, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, but so you do have that.
I do. I have a meditation practice. I meditate every morning, 20-25 minutes. I started with Casey on Sundays at Sacred Roots, and it all just started from listening to Dharma talks. There's a monk, Ajahn Brahm, from Australia, and he's very funny. He kind of like, he curses a little bit. He's really human. I've always gravitated to that, like I'm not underdog, but just the real human beings, you know. The yoga teachers who were like, yo, everybody could fart and cry in my class kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, just because that's what we are. We need that room to be that. But I just gravitated to his Dharma talks and started listening to some guided meditations. And then I was like, I think I want to go to a group, you know?
Yeah.
And I had been invited to Bhakti and a few other things, and I just wasn't ready, mentally, emotionally, whatever. I just wasn't ready, you know? And so I finally went, and I just met a beautiful group of people, and people practice, and just being able to be in that environment and sit with yourself, you learn so much about yourself,
Yes.
you know?
Yes.
But I do have meditate. I think everybody should meditate, especially nowadays with the phones and technology.
Yeah.
Just to sit with yourself is...
Yeah, I was going to ask, what does your meditating look like? Like, what do you do to call that your meditation?
I just do breathing meditation. I just do a
Do
mindfulness.
you sit in a certain position, or do you not necessarily?
I do. I sit on a cushion.
Okay.
I sit. I guess my favorite pose would be a Burmese style.
Okay.
So I sit Burmese style.
Okay.
But
is that like a form of cross-legged or something?
Yeah, so it's basically just both knees on the ground, and then the legs are kind of parallel like that.
Yeah. With like some pillows to lift.
Yeah, with a cushion.
Okay.
But now with training, I'm trying to sit in chairs, and I've been doing walking meditation.
Oh, nice. So your training's getting you to like try it other ways.
Yeah.
Versus trying to just sit on a pillow.
Exactly.
Interesting. Yeah.
And then applying that to everything too.
Right.
These moments when we're talking and listening and that my son. But I also like mindful. And after I've been trying to do mindful coffee drinking, just sit with your cup of coffee,
that, right? Absolutely.
Just drink your cup of Joe and see how everything works out.
Yeah.
I used to drink a lot, and it's funny. My buddy Celso, who got me into Support Humans, he also got me into Ajahn Brahm. Celso Nascimento, I love you, brother. But me and him, we were into craft beers, and we would literally meditate and drink beer and have a session and talk to each other about what was happening after beer 1, beer 2. You know what I'm saying? And then we started having conversations on like how after beer 3 and 4, like all consciousness is out the window, and so we were able to put it into words, and that's like I don't know. I felt like was a beautiful practice for me.
Totally. Super cool.
And then to have people to talk to this stuff about. I love talking about that. Like, real talk, let's go down the rabbit hole of who we are, you know?
Yes, if that's part of your practice and what fills you.
I feel like it, because then we help each other be honest with each other, and then that helps us be honest with ourselves. Because I think that's a huge thing.
Wow, yeah.
That, you know?
And how much our being willing to be honest with other people affects, or is part of our ability to be honest with ourselves, and vice versa?
I think so. Or like when I see teachers being so vulnerable, it helps me to be more vulnerable with people.
Right.
I think. Or not just teachers, but anybody. You know, when people are honest about their life, how they're feeling, emotions. And that's big for me, because just when I was a young kid, I went to juvenile hall a bunch. I was always just hung out with a lot of knuckleheads, drug addicts. I've been homeless. I've dealt with a lot of things, and I just identified with it so much. And there's these forms of not being able to deal with the emotions that brought me to these places. Right. And then when you talk about it, like I put up a post on my Facebook where it's like male depression. And then it's all society, a high five, like, oh, stop being weak, bro. And then it's like, you know what I mean? And that's kind of how it is. And so I feel like a huge thing for me is, I guess, men being open with their emotions and being able to communicate. Yeah. And that's it. Whether it be with another man, a woman, mostly yourself, you know? That's it. And again, it's all words. Application is so hard. Right?
Hey, but the words are a start. And they are part of getting into the application.
Absolutely, absolutely. Wow. But that's like that's kind of basically what brought me down this path. You know?
Wow, what a great way to do that. I love it too. Through the music and through the being out in the world with people. Right?
We all need each other, you know? Especially like with the gram and stuff, like I think we're all together, but then it's so separate.
Right, and we want to feel connected, but often what we look toward for connection can be a disconnect, right?
Yes.
And so, I'm definitely interested in finding more connection for all of us. And how much that could solve the world's ails, right?
And all of us showing up. I think by all of us, like you showing up, I show up, Casey, Zaire, like everybody shows up. And I think that's huge for everybody, because then it shows individuals like, oh, you know, you could show up as just who you are. I think that's huge. We're presented to be something.
Yeah.
I mean, you just kind of be who you are.
Yeah, right,
you know?
right. Yeah, that's inspiring me to keep showing up and keep knowing it's just about being who I am. Which is what I love, like, kids are such a great influence, right?
Yeah.
They know who they are.
Absolutely.
They're reminding us. Yes. Yeah, I'm looking at our time here. Yes,
Cool.
we have Larry here, playful Larry, which we love. Yeah. Like, so, and how do you, it seems like you also really make time for, like, family life and, like, deep, meaningful time with children and things like that.
Yeah. I love my family. Shout out to all my babies, Winter, Bobby, William over here playing with Larry, my wife Beth. I try to keep. You know, I was doing music a lot, and I'd always go to places, and like it didn't seem like kids were ever welcomed.
Right,
and like, but like I can't lie, like everyone's like smoking and drinking, and like I was always in these environments.
Right.
And then it's like, I don't know, I just really realized like how much time is not with my family. And it wasn't just those things. It's just like in life, like how we always have these like, oh, family can't go, kids can't go. And something, I don't know, I feel like I was always in a lot of environments where it just seemed like there was a lot of separation.
Right, yeah.
You know?
But you really feel that when you have the young children.
Yeah.
Suddenly you feel like you're not welcome everywhere, right?
Yeah,
This
you
doesn't
know?
work, and that's speaking of like a disconnect, right?
Yeah.
It really can be for a lot
And
of us.
how that causes. And so I try to just bring them everywhere. There was one point where I was just like, you know, if my kids aren't welcome, I'm not welcome.
Yeah,
kind
right.
of thing.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And that's okay. I really like that's okay. I don't mind it. And I know there's things that we all do as adults. I understand that. My kids aren't going to go everywhere with me. But majority, like when it comes to this kind of stuff, music stuff, shows, he goes to shows with me, video shoots, recording sessions, you know, we go to the park. After this, we might just go to the park.
Right.
You know? But I definitely want him to be around. And now, too, I have a 22-year-old and a 17-year-old. And so I'm just like, man, this little 10-year-old, I'm not going to let him go.
Exactly. You're just like stoked to get any time with them, right?
Yeah.
We're just honored to get that time with them.
Yeah.
I've been that kind of parent, too. And then you're just glad if they're willing to come along, right?
Yeah,
Like, really. No, I was stoked when William was here and that you're here, because I like it better when kids are around too, because I feel like kids know so much, and especially these younger these generations. I don't know, you feel very even more conscious and awake.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, I believe that. I feel that.
And that's the thing too. Like my daughter, she's 22. Like her mind, her heart, and just like what she like is about, what she represents. It's like I learned so much from her, and I think as an adult and as parents too, I think we need to not be so confident in our parent title that it makes us right. I think that's something that we get caught up in. I think that's a little bit of that foundational.
Right?
Yeah. And so I think we should listen. Like, man, this guy sometimes he comes in with some good advice. My 16-year-old, I ask him like, well, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And he gives me his opinion. It's something I would never have even thought of. You know?
Yeah.
And if I was just stubborn, like, oh, you're just a kid, then I wouldn't, you know, we wouldn't be able to share.
Yeah, you're right. It is such a part of like bringing and being more peaceful on the planet is the way that we're treating children, right?
Yeah.
And even honoring them as their own person, right? And that really comes down to how you're talking to them in the moment, and and where you're bringing them, and how you are. It's, I get so warmed when I'm around parents who want to be like that, right? Which I think probably more parents would like to be, right? If there was more of that freedom and invitation to bring your kids places.
Absolutely.
And that whole aspect.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like, I think family pressure. I'm very lucky. Well, I say I'm lucky, but like when I was a kid, my mom left, and then my dad passed when I was a teenager, and so I just grew up without like a lot of standard family. But now I see that it was kind of a blessing for me to kind of really be who I want to be without that family pressure too.
Right. Yes.
So it's really created a thing for me to like really be a foundation of love for these guys, but I want them to be themselves,
Yes,
you know?
yeah, not get too caught up in the molding.
Yeah, you know, I don't ever want to be like a football dad or something like that. Like when he's like in the studio or he's messing around on music, like that's on him. Like, hey dad, can I mess around? Yeah, please, let's go. You know, I'm not like, you better get on them beats, kid. You know, start doing your chords. You know, or football dad or what have you. You know.
Yeah, so you could see that possibility, but you're choosing not to go there.
Yeah, for sure. Because I mean, nothing's guaranteed, anyways. You know.
And it really is like, if we're teaching or molding anything, how we're treating the kids and honoring their passions, right, is about how you're treating people, or and it's modeling to them how they could treat people in their lives, right, and they get older. So yeah, I'm into that. So,
that's dope.
So perfect to have William here. And Larry was stoked that William was here too.
And look at you, right on cue, right on cue.
All right, I guess that's probably a good time for us to pause.
All right.
But will you please share how people can find and follow you even more for people who have been on and watched to this point and watch it later and all that?
For sure. Castor Pollux, for my music, you can go to Castor Pollux. It's on Bandcamp. What is it? Just CastorPollux, Instagram, it's Castor Pollux, CastorPollux, or Support Humans on Instagram. Support Humans. Oh, Buddha Beats.
Ooh.
Buddha Beats online, Instagram. Anybody looking for beats, hit me up.
TikTok, there's a Buddha Beats.
So is this, will you tell us about this?
Buddha Beats. Been making some beats, been making production. I got a song out with Mr. Crowley right now. We do have a song. We can't tell anybody, but we have a song with Zaire Black.
Okay.
You guys can't tell nobody. Okay. So yeah, I've just been trying to be more focused on my music and art, and you know, and try to create some stuff these guys could help out with. You know?
I bet the co-creation.
Yeah. You know. Yeah.
That's exciting.
And then like TikTok is a new social media. I'm having this guy help me out because he's got like. The mind for that type of stuff, different things. This is my manager, PR guy,
assistant,
animal advocate.
Yeah, and is there anything that you want to say, William?
Yeah, please.
To a close?
Nothing really.
Anything to the world.
If you want to do something and like other people tell you not to do it, you do what your heart wants to.
There you go.
There it is. I love that. That's basic.
Wow, thank you
so much.
I'm going to keep remembering that one. All right, well, thanks you guys so much.
Thank you so much for having us here. Thank you.
And thank you, Larry.
Yes.
And thank you, those of you who came in with us. We had fun.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, adios. Namaste.